Once upon a time there were two brothers, Jacob and Esau, the sons of Isaac. God seems to favor Jacob while he is still in the womb, but Scripture never says Jacob was the better man. Esau grows up strong and rough around the edges. He lives by instinct. He is a hunter, the kind of man who goes out and comes back with food to feed his family. Jacob is different. He stays closer to home and is very good with words. In this story, we watch him use words the way other men use weapons. To understand how the first betrayal becomes possible, you need to understand the world both men lived in. These families did not stay in one place. They moved their camps often, following the green grass, fresh water, and the seasons. If they stayed too long in one place, the land would be used up. They did not have permanent fields, gardens, or orchards that grew food year after year. Their food depended on movement and timing. Meat was not a luxury, it was necessary. Hunting and herding provided the strength people needed to survive hard physical lives. When meat became scarce, people grew weak fast. The plant foods they used were quick and temporary: wild berries when they were in season, fruit from trees already growing in the land, young greens, roots that could be dug up, and grain only if they stayed long enough or traded for it. These foods were important so you won't starve, but they could not fully replace meat in a hunting-based life. So when the Bible talks about famine in the days of Esau and Jacob, it does not always mean the land was dead. It can mean the animals were gone. The deer may have moved on or been hunted too much. The camp had not moved yet, or could not move yet. This is when hunger hits first, and it hits the hunter hardest. Esau was the first to notice deers were gone or had left. Jacob, on the other hand, was closer to the food his mother had stored at home. He was not only near stored supplies and the cooking pot, he knew it was the backup food for when the hunt would fail. Now comes an uncomfortable question. How did Jacob know his brother would come home without a deer? Esau was gone for a week. Would that be long enough for Rebekah to know the hunt was failing? Long enough for her, who understood food and scarcity, to start preparing backup meals. Preparing food was, after all, women's work, and Rebekah managed the household supplies. She would have known what could still be gathered, what could be stretched, and what needed to be cooked before meat ran out completely. There is also something Rebekah knows that no one else in the family knew. Long before the stew, before the blessing, before the brothers are grown, Rebekah asked God why the children struggled inside her womb. God answered her, saying that 2 nations were in her womb. 2 people will come from her body. One will be stronger, and the older will serve the younger. So Rebekah carries this knowledge quietly for years. She watches Isaac favor Esau. She watches the household act as if the firstborn will inherit everything. So when Esau comes home empty-handed and the food is ready, was it Rebekah who actually cooked the meal and just had Jacob stir it? Hunger and timing created the perfect opening, and Rebekah would have known exactly how to use it, as we see Jacob leverage Esau's hunger to demand his birthright. Esau does not think he is giving up his future. He thinks he needs to eat, or he will collapse. When Jacob speaks, Esau does not hear a legal deal. So Esau trades his birthright for stew. He never believed he could actually do such a thing. The next moment is different, because the blessing was never offered or traded. It was taken. Isaac plans to bless Esau. He asks for the meal he loves, because food has always been how they connect. Esau goes out to hunt again. While he is gone, the house turns against him. Rebekah hears Isaac's plan and acts fast. Clothes are changed. Goatskin is wrapped around his arms, and Jacob is told exactly what to say by Rebekah, which will result in Isaac giving the blessing to the wrong son. Isaac feels something is wrong. He questions Jacob. He touches him. He smells him. He says the voice sounds like Jacob, but the hands feel like Esau. These are not the actions of a man fully tricked. They are the actions of a man who senses the truth and chooses not to push further as he gives Jacob's the blessing belonging to the firstborn son. When Esau returns and Isaac shakes violently, That shaking is not just shock. It is the body reacting to something the mind already knew but avoided. Esau enters the tent hopeful, carrying the meal his father asked for. When Isaac asks who he is, everything collapses. Scripture says Esau cries out with a great and bitter cry. This is the sound of someone who did what was asked and found it was never enough. What Isaac gives him is not a blessing. It is survival language. A hard life lays ahead of Esau, and a hopeful promise that one day the burden will break, not because Esau is favored, but because nothing lasts forever. It is after this theft, not after the stew, that Esau's anger turns serious. Even then, he controls himself. He tells people when his father's time is over, he will kill Jacob. Rebekah hears of Esau's plan to kill Jacob after Isaac is gone and the mourning is over, and sends Jacob away to protect him from Esau's wrath. Jacob runs again. He arrives at Laban's house, thinking he escaped consequences. There he meets someone who plays the same game and plays it better. Jacob falls in love with Laban's youngest daughter, Rachel, and agrees to work 7 years for her. On the wedding night, Laban gives him Leah, Laban's eldest daughter, instead. Jacob does not notice until morning. The man who relied on cleverness is caught by his own confidence. Jacob ends up with both sisters and works 14 years. Leah, the wife he did not choose, has children quickly. Rachel, the one he loves, stays childless for years. Jacob rebuilds the same family pattern he grew up in. The one who produces is tolerated. The one who is loved is favored. The cycle continues. Jacob then manipulates Laban's flocks and grows rich, while Laban's household grows weaker. The situation becomes dangerous. God tells Jacob to leave immediately because staying would mean death. Jacob runs again. Now Jacob returns home with wives, children, servants, and flocks. When he hears Esau is coming to meet him, he panics. He treats the meeting like a risk problem, not a chance for healing. He sends gifts in groups, thinking through the impact. He does not send an apology. He sends animals. This time is different. Jacob cannot escape cleanly anymore. He is not alone. Violence would destroy his whole household. He also knows Laban will not follow because this might mean problems with Esau. Jacob has positioned himself carefully. Still, it takes courage. For the first time, Jacob stops running and steps in front of his family. He bows again and again. He does not argue. He does not explain himself. He does not defend himself. He just waits. In that culture, this is Jacob saying without words, I will not justify myself. I am here. Do what you will. This is not a modern apology. It is giving up control of the outcome. Esau understands. He does not demand a confession. He runs to Jacob, hugs him, and cries. The man once called reckless becomes the one who shows grace. Jacob survives, not because he uses fancy words this time, but because he finally holds his tongue for once. After this, Esau invites Jacob to walk with him. Esau is going to Seir, the land where his life now belongs. His family and future are there, and he wants his brother to come and join him there. When he asks Jacob to come, Esau offers Jacob brotherhood and friendship. Jacob cannot accept that and starts to create a distance instantly. He says the children are slow. He says the animals need careful handling. He promises to follow later. He says he will come to Seir, but he never does. Instead, Jacob turns away and goes to Sukkoth and then to Shechem, putting space between himself and the brother who just forgave him. Again, he betrays Esau quietly. One could wonder what kind of man does this to his brother. Esau, as well as Jacob, move on. They are emotionally reconciled at this point, and will meet one more time for their father's burial. Scripture shows Esau was a better man, an honorable man, a forgiving man. Jacob was a manipulator, a twister of words, someone who didn't mind cheating others out of what was rightfully theirs. The moral of the story, why Jacob is favored by God, is because as flawed as he was, Jacob turned toward God. Esau was gracious and a better man by far, but never did seek God. According to the Babylonian Talmud, when Jacob's body was brought from Egypt for burial in the cave of Machpelah, Esau attempted to block the entrance, claiming the spot for himself. In the ensuing argument, Hushim, the son of Dan, struck Esau with a club, beheading him. His head is said to have rolled into the cave and rested in the lap of his father, Isaac. If you found value in this journey from rivalry to reconciliation, please like and subscribe for more biblical insights. And remember, don't sell your birthright for a bowl of soup.